What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If it is the first time you're touching down in this channel, welcome to Small Feet Big Heat. We talk sneakers, we talk streetwear, and everything in between. Yesterday I did my top 10 hat club hats of 2021. Today I'm doing my top 10 sneakers of 2021 so far. Now this is not a list that I put together based off of hype, just the best releases in my opinion that we've seen so far this year. I have 10 sneakers that I picked out and some honorable mentions, so make sure you watch until the end. And before we get into the list, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, show a small YouTuber some love. Let's get into my top 10. Number 10 is the Air Max 90 Bacon. Now the Air Max 90 Bacon needed to be on the list for multiple reasons. The first of which, I love the color combination. I'm a big fan of red and pink together. I think the shoe looks great, and I was a big fan of the OG release. I just never picked up a pair because at this point that shoe is 17 years old and Air Max 90s really don't hold up all that well. But the second reason why I needed to be on the list is because Nike does not do nearly enough with the Air Max 90 in my opinion. We see it here and there in some packs, and every now and then there's a standalone colorway that has people, you know, turning their heads a little bit. It's a really nice standalone colorway. I think the last one we saw was probably the Supernova that released last year, but overall I think that Nike could do more with the Air Max 90, so that's why I definitely wanted to put this on the list. Something interesting happened with this sneaker though. At first it had a lot of hype behind it leading up to the release. You know, everybody wants to come out with the nostalgic stories. All of a sudden it's nostalgic for everybody, but y'all know how that goes. Turns out there was a lot of stock for these, and of course when stock goes up, interest goes down because everybody wants something that's exclusive, and that's where the hype, you know, just kind of reveals itself, because you can pick these up for below retail on StockX and GOAT right now, which is great for the people who actually wanted them. I know I have a below retail pair on the way. So let's get into number 9. This one's gonna take a few people by surprise. Number 9 is the Anthracite 5s. Especially if you're a regular here on the channel, you know how much shit that I was talking about these sneakers. I wanted no parts, but then closer to release I actually saw some better photos, some on-foot photos, and once I saw the way that the 3M was hitting in the right light, I completely changed my mind about these, and I actually started looking forward to the release, only to find out on release day that they weren't even going to come in my size. So that kind of hurt. For those of you who can fit the shoe, because it did only come in men's sizes, I seriously suggest you take a look at these. It's a great Jordan 5, so if you're into Jordan 5s, definitely check them out. Also, it's a great alternative to the off-white 5s, the black pair. You do a little lace swap, same look, fraction of the price. Save your money. Number 8 on the list is the Supreme Dunk Low. Now in terms of looks, this would have been my number 1. I love late 90s, early 2000s fashion, so this shoe was like right up my alley. It's one of my favorite releases this year so far, but because of availability, I had to knock it down. This was an extremely hard pair of dunks to get. If I had to rank the colors, it would be blue, black, green, and then brown. Honestly, I don't think a lot of people would touch these if it wasn't for the hype, but y'all see what I wear on this channel. These sneakers are right on par with my style. It is a great shoe. Number 7 is going to be the New Balance 550. This is silhouette of the year. I know everybody's opinion is different and everybody's entitled to their opinion. This is mine. The 550 is the silhouette of the year. It's affordable, it's comfortable. New Balance has released a ton of colorways, so it's very accessible. The color that I'm ranking at number 7 in particular is the Amy Leondor natural green color. I think that's a really good colorway. The green with the cream and the gold, it looks really nice. That's a good looking shoe. But New Balance has a ton of other colorways. Right here I have the University Gold that released not too long ago. I really love this pair, but as for the list, it is only right that an Amy Leondor collaboration ranks, because Amy Leondor is a huge reason why the 550 is so popular. If you have not tried a pair of the New Balance 550s, they retail at $100. Go ahead and try it and just thank me later. Coming in at number 6 is the No Trade Dunk High. Now this is a sneaker that I was pretty lukewarm about leading up to the release. I was lucky enough to hit on a sneakers app, and even after doing my review and on foot, I still wasn't completely sold on the pair. Like, I intended to sell these when I first got them. After the review, I decided to keep them, but I just wasn't completely sold. There were a few things holding me back, but after wearing them for the past couple of months, I appreciate these sneakers a lot more. I've been able to make some really great outfits I really love these shoes. I've even started looking into buying the other colorway, which was a No Trade exclusive. I'm putting them both on the list at number 6 because they are both solid colorways. This blue one right here, I really appreciate how even though they used different materials, they were able to match up the blues perfectly. So the blue canvas on this side is a perfect match for the blue leather on the outside. It is a very well executed shoe. I cannot stress that enough. There are about 4 or 5 different materials on this pair right here, and the quality is A1. This is probably the best or second best. No, it's the best quality shoe that I've picked up this year. Second best would be a sneaker that we're going to talk about later on in the list. Let's all hope that No Trade gets another run at it with Nike because I'm looking forward to it at this point. Number 5 is the Raging Bull 5. Adding these to my collection was a very special moment for me. If you haven't already seen that story, go check it out. I tell the story at the beginning of my review and On Foot. So yes, I would rank these number 1 just off the strength of that. But being honest, there have been better releases this year. So history aside, I'm ranking the Raging Bull at number 5. This is a sneaker that has reached grail status for me. I know a lot of people said it was an easy pass because it's not wearable, and I want to say something right quick about not wearable. When some people say that something is not wearable, a sneaker is not wearable, what they're really trying to say is it's ghetto, but they're afraid of how they're going to be perceived on camera by using that word because it has a negative connotation, so they don't use that word and instead they say not wearable. Let's just get that out there and be honest about it. Now, I do hear it and understand when people say that it is not an everyday sneaker, but the Air Jordan 5 was never meant to be an everyday sneaker. And over the course of the years, we've seen plenty of all red sneakers reach that status, that grail status, and break necks. The Yeezy Red October, the Independence Air Max 90, Lab 4s, the New Balance Made in England. There are plenty. Put some respect on the Raging Bull 5s. Let's get into number 4. Number 4 is the Ambush Dunk High, and for those of you who have been around for a while, you might remember me talking garbage about this sneaker as well. But in my defense, I was talking trash about the original all-over pink version that released first. I was not a fan of that one, and I'm still not. I think that colorway was hot garbage. The one that made it to the list, this black and white pair, this is fire. I think that Yoon Ambush has great taste. This sneaker is perfect for the people who like their kicks but are not afraid of these models being updated and changed a little bit. The people who like weird shit like me. Like I said, these look like they just came out of the pages of a comic book. Now the real reason that these made it to the list, I'm not even gonna hold y'all, is the royal blue version. That is the showstopper, but it drops on the 15th, so technically I couldn't put it on the list, but that pair will come home with me. It might even come home early. Number 3 on the list is the Yeezy 700 V2 in the cream colorway. The Yeezy 700 V2 was gone for about a year, and they bought it back in this colorway right here. I think they did a good job. It is very similar to the OG colorway, the static colorway. Let's just get that out there right now. But I think that it has legs of its own. It stands on its own. This shoe is the perfect combination of style and comfort. I could run the streets in these all day. I'm not because there's still a panorama out there. But if I wanted to run the streets all day, I would do it in these. The cream and gray on the upper make it very wearable. I can pair these up with a lot of different things, but my favorite part is the 3M. Of course, y'all know that. The 3M goes crazy on these, and I like that they added it in a way that makes sense. It actually adds something to the shoe rather than it just being random. I reach for these a lot, and I hope that we don't have to wait another year to see a Yeezy 700 V2 because it's probably my favorite out of the Yeezy lineup. You can call it cheating. I'm gonna call it finessing, but I didn't want this list to be overrun with Jordan 1s, so I narrowed it down to what I thought was the best 2 releases, and those are gonna share the spot at number 2. First is gonna be the Air Jordan 1 High 85 in neutral gray. Now this sneaker, a lot of people said that it was too plain, too boring. I think it's perfect, especially with all the colored Air Jordan 1s that we're getting right now. This came at the perfect time. It's something simple, something clean. It is 85 cut, and I think that they look really great on foot. The materials on this pair are nice. The leather they used is thick. I can't see into the future, but this is going to be one of those Air Jordan 1s that age really nicely. The Air Jordan 1 that's sharing the spot with these are the Air Jordan 1 Hyper Royal. People were absolutely losing their mind over this shoe just to see that they were restocks a couple of weeks later, and we're still seeing restocks today because I'm pretty sure that there's still pairs that were late that are popping up on a lot of different sites. But that put aside, I do think that it's a good looking shoe. I like the dyeing technique that they used on the upper. I think that's what makes the shoe interesting. The color is nice, and overall it's a nice switch up from what we normally see with Air Jordan 1s. I don't want to see them do this too many times. First was a turbo green, now the Hyper Royal. I don't really want to see a third one, but I do want them to use the success from those two pairs as motivation to keep trying new things with the Air Jordan 1. Number 1 on the list, the women's A Ma Maniére Jordan 3. This is another great example of what hype can do to a sneaker. Leading up to the release on this one, people were very excited. They thought that it was going to be a limited shoe. We saw the release get pushed back several times, and I think during that time, newer, shinier sneakers came along and people lost interest in the A Ma Manières, and I think that's great because it creates more opportunities for people who really want the sneaker to get their hands on it. Now that there will be a wider global release for the shoe, you could tell by the resale prices that people really aren't feeling them as much as they did when they thought that they were super limited. Remember, I said the before prices were crazy high, especially for a Jordan 3, and now they're floating at, you know, maybe $80 over retail. I have a pair on the way. I can't wait to get those in hand and show them to you all. But yes, that is my number 1. I think it's a really good shoe, and I said beforehand when I was doing my upcoming releases video that I wanted them to have a good story behind this one, because if they didn't, then it felt kind of forced. It felt like a cash grab. Felt a little weird to be doing these women's shoes and there's no woman involved. But I'm happy to say I think that James Whitner and A Ma Maniére did a beautiful job telling a story for black women, using the Air Jordan 3 to give a voice to a group of people whose voices normally fall on deaf ears. The shoe was beautifully done. It is everything that you want from a collab without being flashy. You have mixed materials, the branding is not in your face, the accent colors are on point. Really nice sneaker. Can't wait to get my pair. I did have a few honorable mentions, and the first of which is the Trophy Room 1s. I still think that that shoe is a good looking shoe with an interesting story behind it, but the release was a shit show and 99% of people will never be able to touch that shoe. So it's very unattainable, and that's why it didn't make it to the list. The second honorable mention was the Carpet Dunks. I thought the details that they put into that shoe were amazing. The only problem is that all of that detail is underneath the tearaway layer, which means you would have to beat this shoe to hell in order to really appreciate it, and I just don't think that's fair. The P-Rod Dunks are one of the best what the sneakers that I've seen in a very long time. If you enjoyed today's video, remember to like, comment, subscribe, show a small YouTuber some love, and I'll check y'all out in the next one.